Hello and welcome to another episode of the Just Go Watch podcast. This week, we ain't playing around, we ain't monkeying around, because we're reviewing The Monkey.
Absolute dog shit.
I don't need
Absolute
I don't need
fucking dog shit.
I do not need to see it to know it's dog shit.
What a clever intro.
Yeah, do you know what? I thought of it just literally as we were just about to go on air. And then I said it, and then during the intro music, I did want to stab my own eyes out with how poor that was. So,
And
yeah.
why do you not stab your eyes out?
Yeah, it sounded like you had the words you wanted to say, and then like kind of like half forgot them halfway through, and then just like started fumbling around. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, it's essentially a bit like every podcast that you make me come on and do. The lights are on. The lights are. It's like imagine a fairground where from a distance that you can hear the music, you can see the lights, and then actually you turn up, but no one's there. There's no one having fun. No one's eating the candy floss. No one's having the hot dogs. It's barren. I'll
go further. Right, you see the lights in the distance, right, and you can hear some sounds, and you think, oh god, that looks like an amazing carnival. As you get closer, you realize this is like fucking 10 disabled blokes in a wheelchair holding flashlights, singing some songs or something. That's what.
We're off. We're off and running.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah, lovely. Cheers. Cheers for that.
All right.
Well, listen, you are back with another episode of the Just Go Watch podcast. We've got the ever polite and giving Deej and MP, and of course, Hatcher Plan, giving you those dulcet, lack of enjoyment tones. I don't know why I've come across that as though I'm just like done with it today. I was quite enigmatic before. Was that the right word?
You were before we logged on. You were all hyped up, and then do you know what though? It's these Wednesday pods. We've got to, apologize to our listeners firstly for not having a strict schedule at the moment, and we've got to get back to the Sunday. Sundays, the energy's there. You get to Wednesday, and you just do it like
hump day
after work,
hump
and
day,
you're just beat and you're ready for the weekend. You got no energy left.
God, I know. Man.
I should have been better an hour ago.
Yeah,
but here we are.
That's right.
Here we are.
That's right.
You
look like you need the sleep, boy.
Let me tell you. I do. MP, if this is anybody's first time listening, what do you got to tell them?
Well, if this is your first time listening, wherever or whatever you're listening to this show on, or whatever you're watching it on, there is a follow or a subscribe button. Go ahead and click that for us. Follow the show, so when we eventually do get back on track, you won't miss any future episodes. And you can listen to our previous episodes. You can also leave us comments and reviews and ratings, and we'll get back in touch with you. You can follow us on our social media. We're on Instagram and X/Twitter at Just Go Watch Pod. And keep up with the show. And like I said, get in touch with us. We love to hear from you. And I think that's all I got.
Yeah, good.
That covers it,
all
right?
those things. I haven't said anything hate-filled for ages, but do all those things, yeah? Like, click on it, innit? If you're listening and you don't click, then fuck you, innit? Basically, that's what I'm saying. It's Wednesday. I'm aggressive today. Also, send some messages of hate. Send messages of hate. Messages of love are good. But I prefer messages of hate where you talk about something controversial. So it's how much you hate Hatch. I love them ones. They're my favorite messages. Talking about Hatch and his posh voice and how much you just hate him and you just wish you could like run him over with something blunt and like sharp, so he doesn't quite die but causes him loads of pain, and then he has to go to hospital with some kind of infection and lays there for years and years as we just go and poke him with like poo covered sticks or something, yeah?
Oh,
that kind of thing.
Oh my goodness. This is too well thought out and visceral.
Sorry. I'll take that back. I love Hachi.
So speaking of horrendous ways to die, this week we are reviewing The Monkey. Another segue. God, I'm the fucking king.
Hey, with the monkeys.
Yeah. This is directed by Osgood Perkins, who is our very good friend who reviewed the film that we loved, Longlegs.
That's right. He
Wait,
kicked this one
confirm.
out pretty quick.
Did I say reviewed
Well,
it? He directed it.
Yeah, you did. He directed it, right? Okay.
Yeah, he directed Longlegs, which we didn't like.
We didn't. Well, you know what? No, it had bits. It had bits.
Yes, it had
bits, but overall was a bit.
But Nicolas
bit
Cage
boring.
be caging in that. Nicolas
Oh,
Cage.
he was too Nicolas Cagey. He was too Nicolas Cagey. No. So I was a bit like, yeah, I felt people were really loving that film more than it should have been loved, because it seemed like it just was the type to love. But yeah, no. So this is his next installment, produced by James Wan, actually.
That's Insidious. Not Insidious.
Yes, yes. Yeah. He's done them. He's done them, and he's also done. He's done loads of horror, actually.
Is he Conjuring as well, James Wan?
He is
right?
the Conjuring universe. Yes, some of them, not all of them. I think he ducked out when they started to get a bit loopy. I think that was a smart decision.
But I do rate the Conjuring. One of the better horror films.
Yeah, I agree. And the second one, I liked it.
Yes.
So this
all
one,
of them all right. The Nun was good. I enjoyed the Nun.
No, the latter ones were poor. Like the
I don't think they were poor.
Really
I don't feel like they were poor. I feel like they were not as good as the first ones, but they're still like better than a lot of the horror shit that's been churned out.
I didn't like Annabelle and those ones. I thought they were like, oh look, a jump scare. Oh look, like they were getting real. They were getting real tropey.
Yeah.
And for a man who is a supernatural bump in the night type horror guy, yeah, if you're not entertaining me with that, then something's going wrong. But this is based off of a Stephen King short story of the same name, which I've not read. I've actually not read any of his stuff. I feel bad.
Really?
I am put off only because I'm really put off by the ending scene of it. In the book ending scene.
Why does no one talk about that? Right? Stephen King must be a pedophile. I don't want to like get defamed. I don't want to go to jail for being not for like defamation and stuff, right? But
I mean, you definitely demonetized us.
Bro wrote a whole scene about a bunch of kids fucking. That literally is what that end scene in it. Like, people would have only seen the film. I mean, I don't even advise you to read this.
No,
book.
I wouldn't. I would not read the whole book.
I would skip that last bit, because that literally is what happens. A bunch of kids start fucking. Like, why is no one ever like? I don't know. It's kind of like when you hear that R. Kelly.
Stop repeating it.
You know when R. Kelly was like marrying Aaliyah, he was like 14, and you're like, and then a couple of years later he's releasing "I Believe I Can Fly," and everyone's just like forgotten about it. You know what I mean? I'm like, wait,
any more nefarious individuals you want to mention, just to really get us trashed?
Yeah, let's hit all the key ones.
All the buzzwords.
Right, so Jimmy Savile, Michael Jackson.
Oh Christ!
No, I don't know. I'm just saying. I'm not lying, am I? MP, you've read it, right?
You're not lying. You're not lying at all.
Telling the truth.
And he just sort of skates by. No one, everybody brings it up, but everybody's just like, oh well, we don't really talk about it. I guess because he was
no one's
cocained out of his mind when he wrote it.
No one's ever questioning why you would write that. Like, no one's ever gone. Yeah. But what was in your mind to make you write that scene? Like, because that ain't right. I don't know. So
no.
Yeah. But still, but it is a dope book. So can't hate on him too much. I mean, I Believe I Can Fly was a good song, you know.
Separate the artist from the art.
This has gone downhill rapidly.
I enjoyed this
with a runtime. Yeah, until they mentioned every single pedo under the sun. A runtime of 98 minutes, short and succinct, with a budget of what? Your guesses.
20 million.
Mm-hmm. I'm gonna go lower. I can't. Theo James isn't commanding a big paycheck. I can't imagine. I'll go 10 million.
Yes, 10 to 11 million.
Hell yeah.
Well done.
Thank you.
Well done.
Thank you.
Well done. Well played. He says
Well played.
security.
Fairly.
Thank you, Alexa.
And what has the box office done?
Is it what? We're worldwide, yeah?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh
my God.
worldwide. I'm gonna say. I mean, the cinema I was in, it was literally me and my bird. That was it. There was no one else. Literally no one else. But that said, it was a Tuesday. So I'm gonna say 15 million.
Worldwide.
This is the part where you put your guess in there, MP. So it's a podcast.
Well, I have to.
You can't really do. You can't really do
difficult.
silences on a podcast.
It's difficult as an American to think worldwide because we only really concentrate on this.
I thought you were going to stop
this
that
is
sentence
it.
after the word "think."
I knew. Damn it! Oh, I set him up for that one. I'm gonna go higher. I'll go 21 million.
You haven't looked at anything.
No, I haven't.
21.6 million.
Oh, you can't trust him, Wes. You can't trust him. Listen, I thought we'd got past this. I thought we'd got past. Listen,
those extra 2 days of research helped me out a lot.
It's one thing if
I just
he's in the
came up with the
ballpark,
numbers right off the top of my head.
But to get him bang on, I just listen. Ever since Donald Trump has taken over, America has got more and more corrupt. That much has become clear, and now we're seeing it. We're seeing it insidiously. What's the word I'm looking for? It's like seeping into everyday life. And a man like MP, who's already of questionable character when it comes to guessing these ratings, it is now just that he's not even trying anymore. He's literally not even trying anymore.
I am the best. I am the best at guessing these numbers.
Filthy. Filthy. It's fake news. It's fake news. I didn't look at it. It's fake news. Don't listen to the English.
Remember when we called them limeys back in the day? That was good.
I don't know why that was, but no, well done, MP. So I was gonna try something different with this one. We're all sick of the plot summaries. I was literally gonna do a synopsis instead.
Whatever, man. Just try and do something with a bit of energy, please. Yeah.
I promise no such thing. The Monkey, 2025 comedy horror. Directed by the previous mentioned Osgood Perkins, it follows twin brothers, both played by Theo James as an adult, whose lives are turned upside down by a cursed monkey toy left to them by their father that causes random horrific deaths all around them.
Is that it?
That's it.
That was it.
Is that it?
That's
yeah?
it. That's it.
That was
That's
it.
What were you reading that from? Because there was no
was that Wikipedia?
There was no originality to that. It was as wooden as it gets. Oh, what were you reading?
There was some heavy Wikipedia influences with some flourishes from my own mind.
That would explain the dullness of it.
Yeah, I hated every moment of that.
But it was short. Short.
It was
synopsis
short.
for a short.
Yes.
story.
It was short.
Yes.
It was short. It was short.
There you go.
You left a lot of meat on the bone there.
So that's the movie. That's the movie. Deej.
Flaccid penis of a fucking synopsis. That was. You hate to see it.
I'm just thumbing it in. What did you think? What was your assessment? Oh, dude. I was really enjoying it, but they have to make so many phallical references. Right, no, come on, Deej. What was your assessment?
Never listening again. What was my rating and what was my assessment? What was my rating?
You need me to remind you of the plot again.
No, it's just a bit difficult. I did enjoy it. I did enjoy this film. Fuck it, it was random, but you know what? It didn't take itself seriously. Because I think Theo James, his narration from the start, it's obvious that this is, the comedy part is not just like, it's not one of those films that's so bad it's funny. This is meant to be quite funny. It's not meant to be taking itself seriously. It is gory, but it's not like a kind of, I don't know, one of those films where the characters are making those corny jokes that are sometimes a little bit funny, but it's meant to be funny. It's very tongue in cheek. So I quite liked it. The deaths were a bit like, I don't know, like some of them were, I mean, they were horrible, but I think I thought it was going to be a bit more gory than it actually was in the end. So I don't know. I'm gonna have to rethink that. Maybe watch it again to see what I think about the deaths. I mean, they were pretty gross though. But I quite like some of the camera work and or like the way, not necessarily camera work, but the way like shots were scenes were filmed, in that, like, rather than just seeing all the deaths, sometimes there was these quick cut scenes to something else. Like, don't twist it, don't twist it. And next thing you know, you're just looking at the picture of their uncle who's at the funeral. So I thought it was quite slick, I suppose is the word I'm saying. Quite slick. I wasn't bored with it. It just kind of like, it went good pace. Theo James is good, actually. I thought Theo James was good. And the way he plays, I actually enjoyed him more as the bad brother. I thought as the bad brother, he was actually cracking me up. But the thing that steals the show for me is the monkey. Like, considering it's an inanimate object that's doing nothing, every time that monkey smiled, I was just like creasing up, and it's just banging on that drum and shit. And I'm like, this is the most simple thing in the world. Like, I feel like if you've got that sense of humor, like my missus was looking like, why are you laughing every time you see this monkey? And I was just like, I don't know, it's just something hilarious about this monkey just starts banging on this drum, and then people start dying. So I don't know, they somehow, for me, they just struck the right tone between horror and comedy, and I enjoyed it. It's kind of film, it's not going to change the world. It's not gonna. Am I going to watch it again? I don't know. I probably would watch it again, actually, but it's not going to change the world. But I enjoyed it. It was a good laugh, better than some of the. Do you know what it was? The overall, it knew what it was, and I feel like we've seen films that just didn't know what it was. Good idea, well executed up to a point, and then tried to be something else. And I've got a lot of time these days for films that know what it wants to be. Even if it's not perfect, even if it's not amazing, if it knows what it wants to be and it's true to that, I'm vibing with that at the moment. So, yeah, I liked it. I'm going to give it the 2 ratings, the normal rating and the horror scale ratings. It is a horror. I won't hear anything about it. I will not hear any objection. In the court of the Muad'Dij, this is the way it shall be. So it was said. So I'm going to give it on a normal scale, I'm going to say a 6, I think. But on a horror scale, I'll give it a 7. Then that's what I'll say. Or maybe a 6.5 and a 7.5. 6.5 and a 7.5, actually. That's what I'll start. 6.5 and a 7.5.
Very nice.
All right. MP?
Nice. All right. Well, yeah. Deej is right. This movie, well, at least it starts off, it knows exactly what it wants to be. Really, for early on, that first opening scene where what's his name? Adam, what's his last name? Scott? Is that him? Anyway, the pilot where he runs into the pawn shop, and then you have the gore. It kind of sets you up with, all right, this is what we're doing here. We're gonna have some fun with this. We're gonna have some gory, over the top kills, which I have to give Osgood Perkins a lot of credit for, because as we know from Longlegs in his previous movie, he does these dark, almost pretentious horror movies, and here he is doing really this horror comedy slapstick with the gore that's way over the top, kind of tiptoes around the Final Destination setups for the kills, where it kind of leans you in one direction and then the kill is another way. Again, I thought it was a lot gorier than really going into it. I didn't think it would be as gory as it is. So I'm a little different with Deej on that. There were moments where I was like, oh my god, they really did show that, like the sleeping bag when they opened that up. I was like, oh, that's pretty nasty. Yeah. But yeah. I think the first half of the movie, I was hooked. I was enjoying it. I do love a good horror comedy. This had some Sam Raimi Evil Dead to it, where it's just being goofy and letting you know, like you said, it's winking at you the whole time. Theo James does a fine job as the brothers. I actually like the version with the kids. Christian Convery, who played both kids, or both twins. I thought he did a really good job in their relationship with their mother. I thought that was kind of more of a heart to it, whereas when it sort of gets to that point where they're grown-ups, and then you bring in the brother, and then you bring in that son, what was it, Petey? That's really where the movie starts to lose its energy for me. Because really, all the characters in this movie, I mean, they're all assholes. Let's just put it out there. None of them you're not rooting for anybody. I didn't care about which one who was going to die or what happened at the end. I really didn't like that kid and their relationship. I get that they were estranged and all, but I didn't care for that. But I would say, yeah, for at least the first half into maybe a little over halfway, I was really into the movie, enjoying it. Again, I'll give Osgood Perkins credit for taking this direction. And the film looks good. I like some of the imagery with the monkey and how he would just kind of loom in the shadows, or that weird dream he had where the monkey picks him up and then puts him on the table to chop him up as revenge. That was pretty good. So overall, I had fun with it. I can't say it's great because, like I said, by the end, I was like, okay, this has really lost momentum for me. But I'll give it, do I got to give it 2 scores? I'll give it a 6 for normal, and I'll go 6.5 for a horror scale.
All right. I didn't have fun with this one. I feel my positivity. Maybe it's coming to an end here. I don't know. I was so bored. I don't know. I'm not a big fan of the slasher stuff, and this is almost like a slasher without the actual. But you're watching the slasher for the big kills, and I thought the kills were like, I don't know, like they're just CGI messes, weren't they? Like, well, no practical effects. It was just all CGI blood. So I can't buy into it. I didn't really engage with any of the characters. And for the first part, it was basically like 2 kind of films, because if that first bit was a prologue to like set the film up, it went on way too long. It was 35 minutes before we see adult Theo James. And it was just way too long. I thought the plot was just rambling, meandering through. Just, what's your end goal here, mate? Like, this is fucking boring. Sorry, you're trying to. I've got to spend time with my son. Like, I don't care. Like, it was boring. Then the whole side bit with the son was just empty boringness. And I didn't really vibe with any of the characters. The monkey should have more like rules to it. It made me think of Deej when you sort of say about these ghosts that just like, oh yeah, it's feeding off your energy or something, and they're just like, well, it's just a ghost walking around a house. Like, that's weird. Why is it like bumping stuff off? I almost felt the same with a monkey. Like, okay, why have you killed that person? Why have you not killed that person? Why have you killed that person like straight off the bat? Why have you made this person die with extra steps? Why are you waiting time sometimes? Why did you disappear for 25 years? You know what I mean? I was just like, I don't get it. It just seemed to just be like, oh yeah, when the plot needs it to come back, it will come back. I actually fell asleep during the final third as well. I don't know. That might have been a sugar-induced pick-a-mix coma, or I was just that bored. I actually missed the mum of the kid and the stepdad getting it. I missed that. I only read that on Wikipedia just before we went online. I missed it completely. I thought the adult
podcast is impressive.
The adult brother, I just thought, like, I was like, this is, I don't know. I was like, where am I supposed to laugh here? Because I didn't find any of it funny. The deaths weren't set up enough, and you can get funny deaths. Zombieland is a great example of doing like horror comedy kind of thing, right? That leans way more into the comedy side of things. And they do the voiceover stuff as well, where you've got the rules and things like that. That I just think is a way better version of this type of thing. This for me wasn't funny. I don't remember laughing at all. And then also the horror elements. Anytime you had any kind of tension with a death of like a Final Destination vibe of it's coming, they would just take it away, or they just might make it farcical, like with the aunt. So this isn't for me. It's, you know, I like things in boxes, and this is it's trying to do both, and it does neither. So for me, I actually think this is a 4.5. I wouldn't want to see this again, and I think it's below average. I don't think this has got any staying power. I saw it 2 days ago. I'm already forgetting it. This will be forgotten in 6 months' time.
Damn. Yeah.
Man.
Yeah. Wow. You love that 4.5, don't you? That's a
just go through
4.5,
life.
man.
You can't have
Controversial.
fun at all. You're just a robot.
If I can sneak in under average, then I will, because that sums me up as a person as well. So sneaking in
Yeah.
under average, on all counts.
Yeah.
That much is obvious.
Distinctly. In fact, that's one of the things that makes me above average. I'm distinctly below average.
You are. You are much better than most people about being below average.
You excel at
Yeah.
mediocrity.
Well, no, not even. I wish mediocrity.
Strive
God,
for mediocrity.
Why I wouldn't give for a 5?
That's
But
what your
do you
wife
know
said.
what I mean? Do you know what I mean? Like if you're gonna go for the like slapstick, let's get some gruesome deaths. Like, why are you painting it with CGI all over it? There is a difference. I don't care what anyone says. There is a massive difference when you use practical effects with that kind of thing. It just impacts you more, and you're like, whoa, like fucking.
Yeah,
hell,
like
right.
when you watch Terrifier, like part of
Oh
the reason,
yeah,
like, it looks horrible.
there's
so
a
horrible
reason that you
because-
are there squirming in the seat, like, oh man, he's fucking
Yeah.
ripping the skin off. Like, that's fucking horrendous. Whereas these, you're just like, okay, yeah. And
Yeah,
I don't know.
there is some
I think the okay, cost fine, but then like you're gonna fail in what you're, like, oh, I want to bake a cake, but I've got no money for eggs. Like, all right, well, you're not gonna make a cake then, are you? I mean, I know they actually make eggless cakes, so that's probably a bad example, but anyway,
where are we at? What the hell happened to the show?
some other ingredient, you flour, I don't know. Anyway, yeah, I just feel like you just, well, if you want to make the cool deaths, you're gonna only get so far if you're not gonna buy into them more and do them more. I also didn't like the way that anytime someone did die, everyone was just like, yeah, they're dead.
Yeah, that was weird. All the characters handled these deaths just so like
So
Yeah,
flat.
but I mean that whole
yeah,
like you literally had a town of people who were cheering when new deaths coming on.
yeah,
Like, I mean,
it was so
it's just-
weird. The one
it's-
cop was just like, "Oh well, don't go in there." You know,
Yeah.
she was just so weird.
this is
I
not
wouldn't
a
have
film
minded.
in which you need to take things seriously, man. This is not.
I would
Right.
have found it funny if he ends up doing it because he's just used to it because he's just seen so many. But I think it would have been funny if everybody else around him is like, "Oh my god, did you see that?" And he's like, "Yeah, that's her leg." Yeah, that for me would be funnier
Yeah,
if everybody else has
Yeah.
a normal reaction and he's just so immune to it because he's like, "Well, yeah, no, I grew up with this."
yeah. If
know?
the horror would have been more serious, and then the comedy would have come from the reaction to the horror.
Yeah.
I can
Like,
see that.
I think
Yeah.
the aunt's death for me sums up the film, right? So she is alone at home. She wakes up to a noise. Now you could have quite a bit of tension there generally because you're like, oh shit, where's the monkey gonna be at? And then she's like creeping downstairs. And initially I was like, oh, don't do it. What's gonna happen? And you're waiting for something. She gets all the way downstairs, and then it's like nothing happens. And then she just falls down the stairs and gets a face full of fishing things. And I was like, oh, that's a bit shit. Again, and it was almost played for laughs, but I was like, but that's not funny. And it's also not horrifying. And then she's upstairs, like taking them out. And then eventually, and then it just gets ridiculous, like to the point of just stupidity.
I don't know, Hatch. At that point in the movie, I think every kill has been some comedic form of kill on the screen. So I think at that point, I kind of understood that this is going to be a goofy Looney Tunes kind of kill.
Maybe I should have known that. Maybe the very first kill I thought was funny. The very first one when the dad tries to take the monkey in,
Yeah.
and he's like, no, don't do that. And then it shoots him, and then it draws it back. Maybe that's the actors or actor reacting. Adam Scott, did we say?
I think so.
Maybe it's him because he's good at comedy, I think. And those kind of deadpan reactions where it just like then comes back and it's just pulling out his intestines. Like that's quite good. But that again that's a man who's just seen loads of death and he's trying to get rid of it and he's like, oh, for fuck's sake, not another one. But yeah, that was the best. That was the best death for me. And then everything else was then downhill. I don't know. What was
I I don't know. Like, I enjoyed like the aunt, right? Like the head on fire thing was obviously a bit ridiculous, but
Yeah.
running into that spike I quite enjoyed.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
I like that. The guy now, it obviously is a lot of CG involved here, but the guy who got the bees in the face, I was like, that's pretty cool because I've never seen that before. Like literally, this guy just got fucking his face stung to death from the inside, his jaw fell off. I was like, that's pretty unique. Anytime I see a unique kill in a horror film, I'm like, all right, that's pretty cool.
Do you know who that guy was? The
No.
actor? He was in
No.
the Halloween Ends. He was the whoever that kid was that they focused
Oh,
on
what
in
the
whole movie.
fake Michael
Yeah,
Myers killer?
yeah.
Oh, boo, boo! Killer whoever wrote that script for that film. Fucking hell, what bin juice that was. Anyway, yeah.
Juice.
What other kills were there? I mean, a
Oh
lot
yeah,
of them.
there's so many standing out, buzzing through your head right
Oh, yeah.
now. Wow.
The babysitter, that was pretty funny.
Yeah, again,
With a head
I'll give you that. I'd give you that one. Again, I mean, absolutely ridiculous. Obviously, it's not that. Now, that is the kind of kill I'd give because I think it's executed literally quite well. Like, I mean, there's no way his knife can be whatever sharp. Like, he ain't cutting her head off. Like,
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
But like, that one was done. I thought again quite well. That one I can buy into.
The mum one,
yeah,
the mum one was quite horrible.
That
I
was
thought the
horrible,
mum one
yeah.
was because I mean that was like could happen. No, I mean I'm not exactly like that, but you know aneurysms and stuff. That was pretty horrible.
Yeah,
I thought.
yeah. Again, but then I'm like, oh right, so you could just make people die of like natural causes. Like, brilliant.
Yeah, but that's the point. He can do anything, isn't it?
Yeah,
That is one thing I
That's
took from the film.
boring. That's
One thing I took from
boring.
this film was that monkey was terrifying because I was like, normally in a horror film, there's something you think you could do, like Michael Myers. You think, fucking well, I just fucking.
I'm a walk slightly
away,
quicker.
walk away at a casual
Yeah,
pace,
right.
and I'll be able to get away, won't I? Except the fact that somehow he'll then be where I'm going. But you know, there's things you can think you do in, you know, a lot of supernatural films. There's things you can do. There's some kind of book you can use, or some kind of artifact or whatever. But it's like it can literally kill you however it wants to and stuff. I was like, that's pretty horrible because there is no way to escape.
He can be defeated quite easily.
Well, just don't twist his neck thing, yeah. But
just don't.
Yeah.
Do it.
Yeah, that is true. But yeah, somehow it always finds its way back into the world and people are doing it. But
then that's again like how did it get out of the well? Like what's going on? Why is it? Do you know what I mean?
Well, he went back to get it. The brother went and got it.
but it wasn't there.
No, it wasn't there.
No, that's
It
right.
wasn't
That's
there.
right. He got the key. That's right.
So
Yeah.
so it just this.
Oh, yeah,
great
listen, I
movie,
mean, it was not
this great movie
explained.
that
Listen,
you can barely remember.
this film
Well,
was not
it's been
explained.
almost a week since I've seen it. Come on now.
This film was not explained. This film, but again, I don't know, man. Again, it's one of those a few of those films. So I'm like, is this a film where I need it to like make sense? I'm not sure I do. This is the
No, and I would have if it had like Zombieland, right? I don't need to know how zombies came about. Right? I don't need to know. Oh, there was a government conspiracy that escaped from the lab. I don't need to know, right? Because the film, one, it's a zombie film, but two, like again, the film sets itself up as like, look, there's a zombie thing going on. Like, get over it, and then just enjoy what you're watching, right? And then you do, right? And it's the funny stuff and it's the goriness and that's what you concentrate on. This film, yeah, just for me, I wasn't able to concentrate on the kills because I didn't think the kills were particularly good. And then the comedy wasn't really there. They almost got some more comedy when Theo's like, I need to leave my shop. And then the like, I don't know, the manager or whatever who's like smoking a vape. I was like, oh, this could become a bit funny, but really dry sense of humor, but they just did nothing with it. I thought.
Yeah, that's
where
the movies started going downhill for me.
I quite enjoyed the voiceovers. I don't know if like the actual like dialogue then matched up with the voiceovers because I like that kind of. And then my father came to me and I said to him, I was like, yeah, I like that. I enjoyed that. But yeah, I don't know, man. I mean, what was this film trying to do, really? It's just trying to make you laugh a bit and show you some gore, and I feel like it did that. So maybe my expectations were low, and so
Maybe you're just
it
easily
has that.
pleased.
That could be
Well,
it as well.
sometimes,
Hey, there's nothing wrong with that.
but
There's
then
nothing wrong with
yeah.
that.
Well, listen, we said this before a million times. Scorsese needs to understand that I go to the cinema to be entertained, and sometimes some simple shit will entertain me, and a clapping monkey that kills people is just that's entertaining. It's like
First of all, don't
if
clap.
you-
It plays a drum.
well, whatever it does. The
So-
point is, there are certain things that universally are always going to entertain me. You give a bear loads of cocaine, to me, that's a recipe for a good film, right?
Don't.
You
That
get
was such a wasted opportunity. That
Yes,
film.
it
That
was.
was another
Yeah,
one.
that movie
That
was
was another one.
wasted
That was another
opportunity.
one that
Yep.
that didn't really lean into the subject. Like you
Didn't
got
know
a
what it
fucking
wanted to be.
bear. You got a
On
bear
cocaine.
fucking off its face on
That-
cocaine. Do whatever the fuck
Yeah,
you want, man.
exactly.
Yeah, that's a classic.
And-
Is the idea of a film that didn't know what it wanted to be. That's but the premise of it, interesting, and a monkey just banging away on a drum with a horrible smile on its face, just killing people. I'm just
the monkey was creepy as. The monkey was, when he first turned it and like the lips pulled back as well. I was like, oh, this thing's fucking creepy. And like the eyes
that-
when it's like in the darkness and you can just see the eyes. I was like,
Yeah,
the
that's
monkey
pretty
they've nailed. The monkey
Yeah.
they did nail 100%.
Yeah,
As
that
like
grin.
it's almost reminiscent of those like Annabelle type dolls, but obviously in monkey form. Like, why
That's
would you
the,
ever have bought your kid
Isn't that the same grin that you get hatched when you go by primary school?
The lowest of low brows. I can see why this is above average for you both. How humorous.
I enjoyed this pod until they started talking about.
Oh,
No,
maybe I was looking for something more.
Well, I think
I mean, I will say for me, horror comedies, I do tend to like one more than the other. I don't like it when they try and tread the line evenly, so I
Okay.
don't think it works.
I think the other part is just the characters. When it slows down and it kind of moves away from the goofiness, and it's just people you don't care about or you're not that interested in. Like with the kid. I mean, his son, the whole son. You could have cut that out of the movie. It would have not changed one thing in this movie.
Yeah,
100%.
the son.
If you'd had the son, could have just been dumped on him. Like you could have gotten rid of the whole mum and the new like Elijah Wood stepdad thing. got rid of all of that, and it could just have been like, shit, I've got him, and I don't really see him that much. And then he's all like, why don't you see me? You can still have all of that. You don't need the whole, there's a race against time because you've only got this week left because then he's because that's irrelevant. Why does that doesn't even matter to the film?
It doesn't pay off either.
Not pay off at all. So yeah, it's just like, and also like it gets the most for me. It got the most interesting right at the end, like when Bill is trying to force the monkey to do stuff, and then the monkey's like, all right, and then just starts causing absolute carnage with like planes falling, and you're almost getting like apocalyptic, like, and then we see the Death riding upon his pale horse as they then go into it. I was like, this is
this is the movie. Yeah.
That was a bit left field. But I was like,
what the fuck was going on with that at the end? What someone
he had mentioned
multiple times.
Mentioned death. Yeah.
Multiple times. But why could all of a sudden he see it? And why was that just because like he's immune to like I don't know.
It was almost
like because he's seen death, bit Harry Potter-ish with I thought can see those horses or something.
Yeah, I thought it was because he's now in control of the monkey. He's immune. If you're in control of the monkey, you're immune to death, right? Or like the monkey won't kill you. Obviously, you can just still die naturally. But I almost saw it's like death's giving him a nod because it's like, you're here for the killing as well, right? Because that's essentially wherever he goes, he brings death.
Some room over here on my table.
I mean, it was a real not subtle sort of, do you get it? Because of all the death he's seen. Yes. Cheers, Osgood. Sit down, please.
No,
Yes,
I
we know.
don't-
You
We know
don't
your
like
father's
him when he makes
famous.
pretentious horror movies, and you don't like him when he makes fun horror movies. God damn, what do you want from this man?
I would like a good movie. I would
Yeah, you
settle
can't
for
win.
it.
You're asking
can't
too
win.
much now. You're just asking too much.
Poor old Osgood.
Hey, did you know that? You might know this. That Osgood Perkins, like his dad was Anthony Perkins, who played Norman Bates, and his dad
Yes.
died from AIDS, I think in the 80s or in the 90s. And his mother was on one of the jets that got hijacked and crashed into the World Trade Center.
Oh my god.
Yeah,
Oh, really?
yeah.
No
I
wonder
was-
he
I was
can't pick a
shocked
lane
when I
in
heard that. I
film.
was like,
See, I went dark and I
yeah,
stuck
you did.
dark. All
You
right.
did.
Yeah, I've picked my lane. I will rot in it.
The
Well, there we are.
rider on the horse gave you a nod.
Yeah, there we are. That is
yeah. Now the horse that would give Deej a nod would be Pestilence.
Where's
And
I don't,
then
I don't believe
I
that
feel
was
like
called for.
MP, you would get famine, but it would be like an ironic nod.
And I thank you. That's what I was waiting for. It. I was waiting for it.
Now mine would be Conquest, obviously. Actually, Conquest or Death. I'd take either of those.
I don't know if you're worthy of either one of those.
No, I would, because I'll be the death of this podcast. So
You'll be the death of any enthusiasm when you do a plot summary. That's
I can't even do a synopsis with it now. Well, listen,
No.
look, I mean, I'm going to sum up my thoughts on this film in the fact that it's been 40 minutes, which is a short one for us, and we've already run out of things to talk about with this film because there ain't much more.
There
ain't much more. There ain't no list of big exciting kills. There ain't no list of tense moments. There ain't no standout performances. It's just an unfunny CGI
Oh no.
blood. You know,
That was funny. The first half was funny.
yeah. You are right. You're right. The first half was like
first half
was
was
better.
better.
And it was the first half was really good. It was really good.
which is
And I
strange
didn't
because Theo James I did like, but
yeah, I mean, I
it
did not
just-
hate the second half at all. Just the first half was really good. It's also it's kind of like this is the thing with short stories, right? Someone writes a short story, and then you try and turn it into something. You've got to kind of build on it, and you know the idea of this like evil monkey that like kills people when you wind it up is a kind of like an interesting concept. But then to write a full story about it probably a bit more difficult. So you have this beginning bit, but then when you've got to stick a landing with it, it probably is a bit more difficult. So
yeah, but then that's if you're a writer, if you're a director, then that's your fucking job. Do you know what I mean?
yeah, it
It's
wasn't
like-
like I
the
didn't think
role
the
you've
ending was
taken on.
shit. I didn't think the ending was shit.
I
mean,
didn't say the ending was shit. I mean, I thought the whole film just wasn't great.
I tell you one thing I thought was what did make me laugh when like he's having this really really emotional talk with his brother, and it's like it looks like they're they're gonna bond again, and then he literally just gets his head blown off, and then he's just kind of there like, oh shit, okay.
And again, like I think it would have been better if you got someone like fuck.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that would be much better if you have someone else who's reacting that way. I also hated the brother character. I was like, oh, so he's literally the exact same character 25 years later, is he? Same clothes and all. Like he just became a fucking like
The handshake bit made me laugh.
What is going on
handshake-
here?
The handshake bit made me laugh.
I kind of wish they would have maybe, which he does it a little bit on the phone, but maybe if they'd have sold it more that he was like trying to rebond with his brother and kind of selling it that way, but in secret he's really trying to kill him, and then you find that out at the end in a different way, if that makes sense, instead of just the way
it was pretty
it is.
apparent. It was pretty apparent what was going on. The
they're
meandering
obvious.
plot was also predictable.
Yeah. I said very early on, I bet the brother's gone and got the monkey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Although I also thought that the creepy guy with the long hair in Halloween was going to be the son of the brother. And he wasn't.
Yeah, that was another
so-
wasted character. What was the point of that character at all?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Just to get him from the
Yep.
hotel to the brother's house.
I also
and
thought we were going to get
the
another
dad quite a
film
cool
from
death
the
as well.
dad. Yeah. I thought the dad was going to come back in. You
Yeah.
know, in the synopsis, it's literally like he disappears. sorry, what do you mean? No, he disappears. He's not there. Right. Okay. Like, okay, there's a monkey game. No, he's disappeared. You don't know. Oh, sorry. So you can get away from this monkey then? No, can't. Fate. Oh, except when not.
Yeah, I mean, one thing is I would like to have known a bit more about the monkey. Like,
That's
you know,
what I
they're
fucking
like,
said, and you said,
like,
like,
no,
provide, you son of a bitch.
no.
That's the most emotion Hatch has shown in the whole episode.
Like, I would have liked to have like known a bit more. Like, I don't know, like, you know how in like Annabelle they kind of go back in time and kind of tell you a little bit about how the doll became possessed, and also a bit who it's possessed by. You know, like in The Nun, you kind of find out a bit about the demon. I don't know, but then again, this is a horror comedy. It's like it kind of wasn't the actual storyline part of it wasn't, I suppose, meant to be as important and detailed. It wasn't something that was supposed to line up and make sense. So I don't know. Is demon mythology really kind of the kind of thing that this film's going to go into? Probably not. So
I just feel like you could have done it more in a comedic way. For me, this is a director, or like, you know, this is who's right. I think he's written it as well, and the screenplay.
Yeah.
He done the screenplay for it. I don't feel that comedy is his thing. I don't think that
I don't know. I think
be...
from direction standpoint, I think he lands some good comedic moments just from editing. Like, I think DG talked about the uncle when he dies, and they're like, "Don't turn it," and it just hard cuts to his funeral. That's a pretty good comedy cut.
Yeah,
right?
those are
Yeah,
good. That's
yeah.
not writing. That's not writing. That's just pure the filming of it, isn't it? Right. That's like the cuts and stuff. That's the editing.
Well,
yeah.
just the presentation of it. There was like,
I will say, just looking up on his previous stuff, he did Nope, which I have previously said definitely.
I still ain't seen that,
because that for me has got some very good comedic timing, I would say.
The one,
actually,
what's his name? Key and Peele. Jordan Peele,
Yeah.
isn't
Yeah.
that? Nope.
Jordan Peele.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Did he write it?
Jordan Peele directed it.
No, he wrote it and didn't direct it.
What's he done?
I've written-
No, he directed it and wrote it. Why am I getting that then? Why is this coming up?
Yeah.
Oh, has he just appeared in it? Oh, that's it then. Oh, in that case, that explains it. That explains it. So my previous point stands. Jordan Peele, who can definitely write comedy. He's done one or two funny things, I think. Yeah. All right. Well, yeah, I maintain my previous thing then. Osgood Perkins cannot do comedy. You heard it. You heard it here first.
The definitive statement.
Yeah,
From the Just
not sure.
Yeah, that's all you need to know. So I do feel. I mean, he has kind of like, he did Longlegs as his big like thing, and suddenly he's like, you know, all it comes. But if you go back from that, you know, tell me if you've heard any of these. Removal, Cold Comes the Night, The Black Coat's Daughter,
I've seen
The Girl in the Photographs, I Am the Pretty Thing That Lives in the House,
I think I've seen that.
Gretel and Hansel, and then
Seen that one.
Longlegs.
I've seen about 3 or 4.
So
That's why I do tip my cap to him, because this is a movie that is, I don't want to say polar opposite because it's kind of still in the horror realm, but it is totally different in regard to how it's done. Those other ones are like I said, moody, creepy, borderline pretentious, whereas this is just goofiness for goofy's sake. It's something, you know, that would be like if Scorsese said, you know what, I'm going to do a Marvel movie. You would be like, holy shit, wait, what?
Yeah. Maybe a mix.
All of a sudden, you're in a 6 hour Marvel film, and like not one power has been shown yet.
You wouldn't complain. You'd give it a 10. DJ would be like, oh, you could give me a 12-hour movie. I'd love it. Give me more Marvel.
That's outrageous. I think if you remember last week, I was very critical of Captain America.
Yes. And
No,
I'm still
I've
proud
got a
of
bad
you.
reputation here. It's not borne out in reality, I don't think.
History is written by the victors. I don't know why that doesn't really tie in. Right, well, listen, that's about it for the monkey. What little enthusiasm I have has gone. Was it ever there? Who knows? Right, anyone changing their scores? We got a 6.5 from you, Deej. Okay, again, I get the horror scale. MP, you got a 6 or a 7. I'm sticking with a 4.5, and I am controversially because I was slow to the horror scale, but I do accept it now. It does exist. I am not going to include this on the horror scale because I do not believe that this falls into the category of horror.
Interesting. Yeah, but because you said nice things about the horror scale, I won't.
I won't lambast me. Yes, I appreciate
No, I
that.
won't. I won't. I had a really, really hurtful one lined up. So, my rating, I think, you've said some fair points. I'll come down to 0.25, a 6.25, and a 7 on the horror scale.
All right. Yeah,
I'll stay at a
work like that.
6.
Yeah. All right. So we got a 6.25, a 6, and a 4.5. What does that give us?
Whoa! I'm gonna have to bring out the brand new, new version of the Just Go Watch calculator for that. That's a serious some decimal pointage
Yeah,
there.
exactly.
No normal man could do a 6.25 and a what?
6 and a 4.5.
Oh my god! If I take pi and times it by
A beautiful mind.
divided by 3 equals so a 5.6.
5.6.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't think that's not unfair. What do you think the bozos at Rotten Tomatoes have rated it?
Oh, fucking hell, I hate them. Sitting there ribbing each other's fucking bins off, sticking in. I'm gonna say I bet the critics kind of like this. I reckon the critics might be bumming this. I don't know. I've not seen anything about
See what?
it.
Let me add a third question in there. Who's higher, the
Ooh.
critics or the audience?
It's always the audience. But the fact you've said that makes me.
Yeah,
Are you
makes me
double
think.
bluffing us?
Yeah. I'm
Are you
kinda
double
leaning
bluffing
towards
us?
critics on this one.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm just adding another question.
You really have thrown a fly into the ointment.
A monkey in the lens.
Very good. Very good indeed. I'm gonna say 80 from the critics and no 90 from the critics. I'm gonna say critics are gonna like this. No, not 90. 85 for the critics and 75 for audience score.
Uh-huh.
Well, I'll go down. I was gonna say 85. I'll go 80 for critics, and you know what? I'll go 82 for audience.
So we've got somewhere between 0 and 100 for Deej. I think you pretty much hit every number. No, so it is higher for critics than it is for audience. We have 78 for critics and 60 for audience.
Boy, people really didn't care much for
it. And do you know what? I think a lot of audience people.
Average.
I think people in the audience are going to be like me, like, I don't get it. Is it scary? Is it not? Is it comedy? But I'm not really laughing that much. Whereas critics will be a bit more like, yes, it's what it's trying to do is it's to titillate, just to titillate without going overboard too much.
It's a subversion of both genres. It's a
intertwine the serpent that eats itself, Aurora Borealis.
Oh my God. That's actually what I had written down in my notes. Very good, Hatch. Very good.
You sound like Hannibal Lecter there. Oh, please stop now. Children have heard that as their last sound.
That wasn't me. Anyway, well, listen, there you go. Horrendous. Let's leave it on that note. Look, if you are still listening, don't forget, like us everywhere. Please like us.
Follow the show.
Like the video, follow the show, give us 5 stars on podcast, subscribe, all that kind of stuff. Get in touch. I actually think we're filmless this weekend, so if you've got any suggestions, let us know. But yeah, there's only one way that you are going to know what you think of the monkey, and that is exactly.